I want to thank you for joining our seminar today, and our topic for this morning is divorce. Now, a lot of people ask me, what is the difference between a contested divorce and a no contested divorce? Well, it depends on the parties. If everything is agreed to and there's no issues for the judge to hear, you can do your divorce as a no contest divorce, which is fairly simple. It's just a matter of coming in and signing the papers and getting the judge to approve it, and everything is basically done. Now, I want to say a couple things. When you do a divorce, it is very, very important to do it right, because there's 50 issues that you don't even ever think of because you don't do it every day. A lot of times people try to do this on their own, and it can mess them up quite a lot. There's been many, many times that we've had to take over a, say, do-it-yourself or divorce and help people, because it's very complex. There's a lot of forms you have completed, and you got to do it right. There's a lot of people on the internet that try to take advantage of people in this, and it messes them up a lot. So be very careful. And to be very frank with you, I would highly advise everybody to have an attorney when you do a divorce. It's something that you don't want to mess up, and you don't want to do say, a half-good job. It needs to be done fully good. Now, I want to talk for a few minutes about the issues of a divorce and topics that come up that need to be discussed. I have prepared a packet which is available on the internet that you may want to take a look at. It has a lot of good information, and it has a lot of topics you haven't thought of that may save you a lot of problems down the road. First thing I want to talk about is alimony. A lot of people say, am I eligible for alimony? Well, it's usually up to the court. The court has the authority to award alimony, and it's usually done by, number one, a need on one party, the ability to pay by the other, and there's other factors the court can take into consideration. The length of marriage, the issue of child support may play an issue. And finally, the court also has the ability to award rehabilitative alimony. Now, what that is like, let's say one party has been a housewife for 10 years, hadn't finished school, quit school to put her husband through medical school, and needs a help up. She's only be 30 years old, but hadn't worked out in the world and needs, say, to finish her degree in nursing. The court could order alimony for 2 or 3 years, let her get back on her feet. Now, there's common issues that occur in divorce. Who will have custody of the children? Who will get what property? Who will claim the children on their taxes? Many times people forget about this, and it's a big issue when it comes tax time. Will the non-custodial parent be required to pay for college? If it's not listed in there, and you don't take them back to court to bring it up, they're not. It has to be addressed. How will IRA and 401k benefits be split? A lot of times one party has a lot of money in a 401k, the other party has nothing. How will visitation be set? If somebody lives down the road, it's not a problem. If they live in Montgomery, you may have an issue. Are there any other issues that need to be addressed? Many times there's other issues that come up. Every divorce is different. Now, people ask us frequently questions. When will I get my first child support payment? What if he doesn't pay child support? When will divorce be finalized? What if they don't sign the papers? How will I know when the divorce is final? How long do I have to wait before I can remarry? What guidelines do I have to meet to get alimony? There's a lot of factors that come into a divorce, and we need to sit down and discuss them and do them right. Now, if you get a divorce in Alabama, you're required to attend a course called Helping Children Cope with Divorce. It only takes about an hour, and it talks to the parents about what to do and what not to do, and it's pretty good. It only costs, like, I think, $35, and it's a good course for everybody to take, just to emphasize, basically, be nice, and remember the child's interest. The child is not a piece of property. The child is a human being, and both you and the other party have a responsibility to do what's best for the child. Now, if it's going to be a contested divorce, the judge will enter a pretrial order, meaning maintain the status quo. Keep things as close to normal as they can. If you've been paying the bill, continue to pay the bill. Let the other person see the child. Do what you can to keep it as normal as possible. Here we have the standard visitation schedule. Basically, many people refer to this the every other weekend visitation, which it basically is, but there's other factors in there, so take a look at it because it just is a little bit long to read. Next, visitation. We talked about that, and that is available on our internet site, so please review that. Relocation law. If you're going to move with a child more than 60 miles away, you got some hoops to jump through. So I'd like you to take a look at that. It's available on our website. Child support guidelines. How do these figure? Well, there's numerous figures based on income, child care, health insurance, and the court has the ability to raise them or lower them depending on the needs and benefit, or pardon me, the needs and ability to pay on on the parties. So it's important to make sure these are done right. This is not something you want to just go in there and throw it together in 10 minutes and think, oh, it's right. You want to study it and make sure it's right. It's pretty important. Legal separations. A lot of times people talk to us about a legal separation. What is it? Well, a legal separation is where the parties agree to be separated legally. It spells out the rights of the parties during the separation and the responsibilities. A lot of times this is very common for insurance purposes, religious purposes, or if the people just want to make sure that they really want to get a divorce. Kind of test the water, if you will. It's relatively easy to do. It has to be done by consent by both parties, and it may be worth looking into. Now, I want to talk about some other issues. Bankruptcy. You need to know what bills are going to be paid by the other party and paid by you, and you need to make sure they're paid. Bankruptcy and divorce literally go hand in hand. It affects it tremendously. Also, down the road, a Chapter 13 can be filed to take a warrant off you if you haven't paid your child support and keep you out of jail, or make arrangements to repay back child support. It's important that you know the factors and what can happen down the road. Now, I want to say this also. Child support is not dischargeable in bankruptcy. Finally, annulment. Annulments can be given, but they usually are given under fraud, where someone lied, I'm pregnant, I'm having your baby, and they're not, or underage. If you've been married for 6 months and just decide, hey, it didn't work out, you really can't get an annulment. A lot of times people try to get annulments when they're really not eligible. It does exist and it can be done, but you need to make sure you have good grounds for it. Protection from abuse. Now, a protection from abuse is a form usually filed in Mobile County at the youth center. Baldwin County is a little bit different. Other counties do it differently too, where you get a protection from the other party to make sure if they have been harming you, threatening you, physically abusing you, they can't. It's not perfect and somebody can violate it, but it does put law enforcement on notice for them to leave you alone. Unfortunately, this is also abused a lot of times, so people need to be aware of it. Sometimes people would go out and get a PFA against you just for retaliatory or to basically improve their standing with the judge. So we do need to watch out and be careful with it. Many judges know this and keep that in mind. Finally, I want to talk about All Kids. All Kids offers a health insurance program through the state of Alabama, where if there's no insurance for the children, they're eligible to get it.